What's going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes are back. We got one of the all-time greats with us. It's Demetrious Johnson, former UFC flyweight champion. He's also a tournament winner, a Grand Prix winner out at ONE Championship and a contender in their flyweight division. He's going to be facing Rodtang, the great Muay Thai fighter, Jitmuangnon, on December 5th at ONE Championship, and this one's called 1X. Welcome back, DJ. How are you?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for doing the interview. Boy, this one caught us out of left field. You know, I kept thinking, well, I'm sure he's probably going to rematch Moraes. But if he doesn't, then it'll probably be another contender. And, well, we got the answer here. You're not rematching Moraes. You're in a hybrid Muay Thai and MMA fight. So break this down. If you don't mind answering both questions, why not a rematch and how you got to this?
Yeah, well, obviously, the ONE Championship, they offered this. They said, we want you to fight Rodtang. I said, okay, you know, what are you guys thinking? And they're like, well, I want you to fight for the Muay Thai belt. And I said, well, you know, I'm flattered. I really am. And I know I'm not a world-class Muay Thai fighter. And I believe the way I am and my morals of how I view championship belts and all that stuff, I said, you know, there's people out there who've worked their whole entire lives to make it to a Muay Thai World Championship. So I'll fight Rodtang, and we can do big gloves, you know, 3 rounds or whatever. 3 rounds gets the normal duration of a Muay Thai fight. And do 3 threes or whatever. So we'll fight them. And they wanted to put something on that was going to sell. That's going to get it buzz. That's going to kind of break the internet, almost some out of left field, which it kind of captured it right out of left field. So I'm super excited about this opportunity to face Rodtang. He's an absolute monster, a beast, dangerous fight. I've seen him fight live. I've seen him get hit with some really, really great shots. And I'm just super excited for the opportunity.
Okay, so what we read up on the rules was it's going to be 4 3-minute rounds, and they'll alternate starting with Muay Thai, then MMA, then Muay Thai, then MMA. That's how the rounds will go. Can you confirm that?
Yeah, that's what it is. So first round be Muay Thai, second round be mixed martial arts, third round be Muay Thai, and fourth round be mixed martial arts. So like I said, I'm super excited. Growing up watching, you know, Japanese mixed martial arts in the Pride days, I remember when Crow Cop fought Benavidez for the first time, and everybody was like, you have a guy who's coming over for K1. He's had a couple mixed martial arts fights, so he has more experience than Rodtang has in mixed martial arts in general. But Crow Cop was predominantly a kickboxer, going over the mixed martial arts, fighting one of the best in mixed martial arts in Vanderlei Silva. Those guys fought, and it was a great fight. So with the ONE Championship put on a 1X, their 10-year anniversary, why not do something totally out of the box? You know, me being 35 years old, competing since WEC days all up to, you know, the UFC 6-year champion, straight 6-year being a champion for 6 years, winning the World Grand Prix, just fought for a world title and ONE Championship. Why not do something totally different, something fun? I'm super excited for this fight. And yeah, why the fuck not?
MMA gloves, right? Obviously.
Yep, MMA gloves. This will be the first. I mean, obviously, I've spent most of my career in mixed martial arts gloves. Granted, you know, I'm able to mix up, you know, my wrestling and my jiu-jitsu in each round. So not having the ability to do, you know, wrestling, jiu-jitsu in the first and the third round is definitely going to be something different. But, you know, this is what we signed up for. It's something fun. I think this is the first fight in a long time that, you know, all my close friends are super pumped about. What I mean by that is, you know, I'm like, yo, dog, hey, I'm fighting Rodtang. Like, you fighting that crazy motherfucker? You fight him? I'm like, yeah, dog. And I tell somebody else to fight Rodtang. Like, you fight him? Like, everybody's super excited about this fight. And that gets me up. That makes me excited to go out there and put on a show for the fans.
And so did you guys have to negotiate that it starts at Muay Thai and then goes to MMA? Was there options to do that?
No, I didn't care. I didn't care. I didn't care. They said they want you to do, you know, a Muay Thai / mixed martial arts fight. I was like, okay, sounds good. Send a contract.
Wow. That's nuts. Yeah, like I would have thought, because like in boxing, they'll negotiate like 10-ounce gloves 8-ounce gloves, the size of the ring. They negotiate so much. And I don't know if sometimes it's just an ego thing or what. Even who walks out first, sometimes it's champion versus champion. But
I don't care. When they offer this fight, I say I get paid to fight. Okay, that's one of the things these athletes they got to remember, and I've always keeping it back in my mind that I always go back to the very first time I started working a full-time job, making $10.76 an hour, carrying construction tubes back and forth and lifting heavy shit for 8 hours, and then trying to make it at the gym. I've been blessed with the opportunity to be able to make good enough money to support my family, to support myself, to support my hobby, my passion, which is mixed martial arts. So for me, when they offered the fight, I said, okay, let's do it. I'm not going to sit here and go back and forth and argue like, hey, well, I want the first round to be mixed. I want the first 2 rounds to be mixed martial arts and the last 2 rounds to be, Muay Thai. I was like, not worried about that, right? All I can do is go out there and perform the best of my ability. I'm already in great shape, and we're not even 8 weeks out from the fight. So, the training's been great. I've been doing a lot of sparring. And yeah, man, just get back in the gym and work on some technique. Make sure I'm light on my feet, I'm quick, and make sure that transition from going from, for the longest time in my career, I was fighting 25 minutes, 5 5s. And then I went back to fighting 3 5s. And then I fought, my last fight was going to be 5 5s. Made it out of the second round. And then now I'm going back down to 3-minute rounds. 3-minute rounds in mixed martial arts is like, there's times in the gym when I'm sparring 3-minute rounds and I finally get my opponent to the ground, or we're in a clinch, or we're just working and they go beep and the round goes like, the fuck was that? That's the end of the round. That was the end of the round. I was like, 3 minutes is not long enough sometimes. And mixed martial arts. In Muay Thai, it's probably the enough duration just because you're just on the feet. There's only one discipline you're doing. So that's probably gonna be the biggest transition, is just going from 5 to 3-minute rounds.
So I guess leave the little details to us fight geeks, because we already started breaking it down. Like, okay, does DJ want to beat the guy at his own game in round 1? Maybe send a message kind of to set him up for round 2, where you'll become more of a wrestler and jiu-jitsu guy and put the striking to the side. And then also, would it have made sense for DJ to negotiate MMA in the first round, because that's when you guys are a little bit more drier and it's less opportunity for someone to escape for submission? And then the whole 3-minute round thing, it was all interesting. It was fascinating to just talk about it with others. But it seems like for you, it's just like, where do I sign? Let's go.
Yeah, I think it's where do I sign? Let's go. I mean, a lot of people will try to spend their whole entire career trying to negotiate this and that and do this and that, make sure, put myself in the best advantage, advantage to be successful. But I think me going out there and just competing with somebody like Rodtang, in my eyes, is successful. And it's in success, right? That's my mindset going into this fight. When they talk about it's 1X, and when they brought up the opportunity to me, it's like, we want to put together a fight that's going to get everybody super excited, right? And that's what we have done with Chatri announcing it yesterday. So with that already, that's a huge success. I know Rodtang's going to come out. He's fighting in October against a kickboxer, and I know he's going to come out. He's going to come out guns a-blazing. Your boy here, I'm going to come out guns a-blazing. Now, is there like a strategic way I'm going to go about doing it? Like, man, maybe I should avoid him in the first round. No, fuck that. I'm going to go out there and test my skills. I've seen him get hit, and nothing phases this man. Hence his name, Iron Man. I've seen him get kicked clean in the neck by John Haggerty, which I believe is one of the best Muay Thai fighters in the world, behind Rodtang. Seen him get clean in the neck. I've seen him fight Walter Conclave. Amazing battle. I mean, Rodtang is the toughest you get when it comes to stand-up. So I think me taking this fight just shows that I'm ready to put on a good show for the fans.
So if this is something that you like, something that you fall in love with, is it something that, does it feel like it's a one-off, or does it feel like possibly they could do more of these types of things in the future? And would you be interested in that, or do you just want to go straight right back into MMA?
No, I like to, in my amateur career, I did, this is what I did. I did, my coach made me do, my first amateur fight was mixed martial arts. And then the second was mixed martial arts. Then my third one was the kickboxing fight. And then my fourth one was mixed martial arts. And the fifth one was boxing. Then the next one was mixed martial arts. So I jumped back and forth in the beginning of my career, just because my coach believed that it was, if you were to fight somebody in mixed martial arts and they were a better kickboxer, or they're a better boxer, or they're better whatever, jiu-jitsu, you have dabbled in that sport and just competed in that sport, that realm alone. If that makes sense. Like you'll see, has Rodtang ever done a pure wrestling match? Like gone out there with a singlet on and be like, hey, 2-minute rounds, ready to go, and try to, manhandle a man? He probably hasn't. For me, I've competed in every discipline of mixed martial arts for the most part. I haven't competed in karate, but if they gave me the opportunity, it's like, hey, that was a great fight. We got a great buzz. Would you like to do a kickboxing fight? I'm like, sure, why not? Like in big gloves, I think that would be fun. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm at that point in my career where it's about having fun and enjoying my journey instead of putting the stress on myself. Like, okay, all right, we got to make sure we do this right. We got to do this right. We got to win this fight. Da 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 da. I've done that for a very, very, very long time in my career since 2010. Now we're 11 years in my professional career where it's like, hey, you want to fight Rodtang? Sure, why not? Let's do it. It's in the contract. Boom. Why put the stress on yourself? Like, man, I got to make sure I have this round for. Fuck all that. I'm way too old for all that. I got other things in my life that I gotta put my stress into. Mom may be home soon, baby.
You brought up two names that we actually brought up when we heard this idea. And we brought up Vanderlei and Krokop because when they came from Pride to the UFC, there were a couple times where you could tell in certain situations they were dying to throw that soccer kick. But they had to remind themselves, you can't do that, right?
Yeah.
Is that going to be something that's going to be a little difficult for you, the muscle memory? Like, you want to shoot, but you got to remind yourself you can't. And then the next round you can. It just seems difficult.
I'm sure when shit hits the fan, who knows? I might shoot in the first round because I've been bred to do that for the my whole entire mixed martial arts career, even amateur career, right? So I think, with me training 8 weeks of like drilling my head, like, hey, first and third round, you can't shoot. You got to stand up and use your footwork, be dynamic, show him a little bit something different. Because usually he's, in Muay Thai and kickboxing, those guys are tip for tab. Like, you hit me, I'm gonna hit you. I'm gonna hit you, you hit me. And who's the toughest? And here's the thing too. When it comes to like Muay Thai, from my understanding, when it comes to a fight, the round could be totally even until you drop somebody, right? Like, you drop them, and that means like you kind of won the fight. That's kind of what I got like when I watched Muay Thai. When he fought John Haggerty, the fight was going back and forth. The first fight. Then when he eventually dropped him, like, you can see the momentum they gave the fight to him. Then the second time they fight, he destroyed him with a body shot. So, but we'll see. I might shoot, just had an instinct and habit, but I'm doing my best not to.
Nice. Now, when you finally get face to face with him, is there like a little piece inside of you, even though on your side the negotiation was pretty easy, but the fact that you're starting off with Muay Thai, you're gonna give him a little wink, like, I know why we're starting off with Muay Thai.
No, not at all, man. Here's the thing. I'm sure Rodtang is going to be absolutely prepared to defend my takedowns. And in my mindset, I always go in there like, he might defend a couple takedowns. Like, it's not going to be an easy. Like, I have to go through his Muay Thai, his knees, his elbows, the uppercuts, just to get him to the ground. Then when I get him to the ground, the clock is ticking, right? It's not like I get to the ground and, in reality, it should be I get him to the ground, pass guard, mount him, ground and pound. Hopefully he turtles. When he turtles, grab his neck or try to grab his arm and submit him. That's like if I was to write it out, if I was to do artificial intelligence, like, that's how, if they were to do artificial intelligence on this fight and to do simulation, if I were to make it out of the first round, that's how, the simulation should go. And in my mind, I don't foresee that happening. I would like it to happen, but I like to put on my mindset, like, it might be the second round. I might get him to the ground and he might just turtle up and have a great guard and try to fucking throw a triangle on me. I'd rather have that mindset than go in there and expect it to be easy. I want to work for it. If that makes sense. Right?
Last thing on my end from me, for the longest time, when we would interview you, usually we'd interview Benavidez right after or before. Mm-hmm. He announced his retirement yesterday, and I know you guys shared a lot of time. in and outside of the cage. Do you have any thoughts on his career and any words?
Man, an amazing career. Me and Joseph Benavidez have done a lot of. We shared a lot of time together in our career. You know, going to see Cole play at UFC 152 when me and him competed for the first flyweight title for the UFC, and then me and him fighting, you know, UFC Fox. I believe it was UFC Fox 8 in Sacramento. And just sharing the octagon with him has always been a pleasure of mine. And I remember watching him fight when I used to work full time at Caristar. So he's had a great career, and I've always told him, man, there's more to fighting and being a world champion. And I was telling him, like, when he has kids, it's going to change his whole perspective on life. I mean, for me to be able to take my daughter to school this morning, pick her up, come home, cook her lunch, and her sit on my lap now, like, this is why I fight. Right. This is why I fight, and to be able to provide for my family, my legacy, which is one of them sit on my lap. So for him, you know, I sent him a message on, you know, Instagram saying, you know, congrats on an amazing career and look forward, enjoy the next phase of your life, because we all can't fight forever. There's going to be a point in time where I'm going to do the same thing. You know, I'll be like, yo guys, it was Gucci. It was GG's. We had a great time in mixed martial arts and in competing. But now yes, baby. It's all gone. But my time in mixed martial arts as an athlete and being a high class athlete or profile, we want to call it, it's come to an end. Now it's time for me to venture on my next phase in life or my next passion, which could be, who knows?
That's a nice message, man, to a guy that, you know, you two were building blocks for that flyweight division. And I saw Brandon Royval express that to Joe. So that was really, really cool, you know. And I think we've always expressed it to the two of yous and the other guys that came in early, you know, when the flyweight division just was built kind of in front of our own eyes. The 4-man tournament, and then, of course, the incredible run that you had. So that's awesome to hear one legend talk to another one like that.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I mean, like I said, me and Joseph spent a lot of time together. I mean, obviously not a lot of – I would say out of all of my opponents, I think he's the one I probably enjoyed spending time with the most. You know, I remember doing a tour in Australia, going to Brisbane, going to Sydney, Brisbane, just traveling all over Australia, going to the zoo together. I mean, we did a lot of shit together that I would never have done with any other opponent. But, you know, me and him were trying to build a division that just started from, you know, 2012. So, yeah, I wish Joseph and Megan nothing but the best. I'm sure they're going to have beautiful babies, and the next stage of their life is going to be amazing. I mean, they're both positive people. They've never been, you know, kind of negative energy type people. So, I mean, nothing but the best, man. What a successful career. Even though he never became, you know, a champion, still amazing career. People are going to look back at his fights to see how dynamic he was, to see how he fought at both divisions. I mean, legend.
For sure. All right, just a couple quick ones there to finish up here. Do you think they'll come up with a special belt? Like, for example, with the UFC, when they came up with the BMF belt, you know, they kind of – it came out of the air. Somebody expressed that it would be pretty cool for them to for them to have a belt. And next thing you know, they came up with a pretty cool one. I think this sounds like something where maybe a special belt should be created for the winner of DJ versus Rodtang. How about you?
If they want to, I mean, I don't see a reason to do it, but if they want to, I mean, they want to spend the money to make a belt. I mean, I don't care. At the end of the day, I think when they came out with that BMF belt, it was a mixed martial arts fight. So if I want to get super technical about this fight, how do you score this fight, right? For me, I don't see, like, how do you score? It's an awkward way to look at it and how do you score it. For me, I'm just going under the fight and just have a good time and put on a great fight for the fans and for 1X. So if they want to make a belt, go ahead and do it. If they don't, I'm not worried about it.
Well, the good thing at one championship is with no 10-9 and you judge the whole summary of the fight. Well, I think the impression is always like, gee, who would I not want to be? You know, when we look at both of you, and that's how we'll know. But we'll see if we can maybe get Chatri to create something. If we're gonna create something special at 1X, I don't see why someone shouldn't walk away with a strap. I did hear you say I don't care. Come on, we've seen the commercials. You give them belt up, for a few minutes, but you want them back. So you want to add to the collection, right?
I mean, here's the thing. Like when I look at that, so when I look at the fight, when you say it's scored by 10, was that 10-9, or it's, let's say the first round, he comes out and he's just tearing my legs up. He's just doing things. But I'm doing my best. I'm throwing a little, fakes in there. I'm hitting with some good shots, not phasing him. So he wins the first round. The second round, I come out there and I absolutely just fucking ground and pound him. I'm just like ground and pound him. He tries to get up. I take him back down. Okay, then the fight's it's tied. Third round, he comes back out, and then he's tearing me up. Fourth round, we go back out, tear him out. So the fight goes to a draw. So for me, I just don't. I don't see this as I don't see this as a fight that I'm going in to look at like, okay, he's gonna win this round. I'm gonna win this round. I'm literally going to this fight. How's that going to all my other fights? She's going in a fight. Like if I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. Like if I take him down in the second round and submit him, like I don't feel that I'm gonna have any like, yeah, oh, like I don't feel that. Like I don't feel that. Like I feel like going there and just competing against him and going there and having fun. And when people are like, oh, he's just going there to have fun. No, I'm going there to fucking fight. But it's not the same stress that I have on myself to when I was fighting for a world championship, if that makes sense. Like
okay.
It's just two different mindsets. Like I don't know. It's hard to explain. But I've been in this sport for a very long time. I fought in front of sold out arenas, I fought in the biggest stages. And so for me, this is a very big stage and it's a fun fight for me where it's like, I never thought I'll fight with Rodtang. Like if I just never thought it would happen. But when they were like, you want to fight him? I'm like, sure, let's do it. Send a contract. And here we are.
All right. And Marius, that's just on hold. Have you heard that, that you are going to get some sort of a rematch or a rematch to the fight? It's not like you held a belt going into it. This was for a belt. So what can you tell us on that? I mean, as big as the Rodtang fight is, I can't wait to see Marius versus DJ Part 2.
Yeah, to be honest with you, they have spoken nothing about the DJ versus Marius 2. As far as I'm concerned, I think Marius is probably going to fight the next contender in line, which will probably, in my eyes, will probably Kairat Akhmatov or Yuya Wakamatsu. Those guys have been on a streak in the flyweight division. And for me, a buddy at my gym, he goes, you're fighting Rodtang? I was like, yeah. He goes, why? And I said, why the fuck not? And I was like, I'm at the point now in my career, like, why not take these opportunities to have these fun fights, right? Like, why not? Like I said, if they were like, hey, that was a fun fight, what would you like to do next, DJ? I'm like, you know what? I would love to do a kickboxing fight, 3 threes, big gloves, and just test my kickboxing skills. And people are like, well, why do you want to do that? Why not? Why not? If Elon Musk was like, hey, we're gonna colonize Mars, we need 500 people to be the first ones on Mars to do stuff. If my kids were all grown and they were all financially stable and me and Destiny are like bored of the world, I'm like, babe, you want to go to fucking Mars? Like, we'll come back in like 4 years. Like, why not? Like, we get one opportunity to have as much fun in my career or our careers. So I'm sure if you guys got the opportunity to do something totally different than what you guys are doing right now in journalist world, that they're like, hey, Ghost and guys, you guys want to go to Georgian guys, you guys want to go to I don't know, you guys want to go cover motocross for the first time? You guys are like, we don't know much about motocross, but we love athletes, we love to be exposed to different people. Shit, why not, man? Let's go do it. Let's see if we would like the event. Like, that's the mindset that I have. Like, that's the mindset I think everybody should have in their career. You look at Tyron Woodley fighting Jake Paul. I mean, if I was Tyron Woodley, if I was him, I'm like, dude, okay, you came up short against Jake Paul. Let's try to get another boxing fight. Why not? You're 40 years old. Why not?
I like it. All right. The last question is, this is just out of the ballpark, but I think your opinion carries a lot of weight because of the iconic status of the flyweight division that you hold. They're going to do Figueiredo versus Moreno Part 3. Mm-hmm. I think this is the first time I've seen 3 title fights in a row with the same fighters not taking anything in between. If you were in that situation, like, wouldn't that drive you nuts to prepare for the same guy again? Like, would you have taken this? Would you have maybe put your foot down? Like, what are your thoughts on this?
No more, baby. No more. You're making a mess. Look at this beautiful mess you made. No more. We'll talk afterwards. So I think the first time they fought, it was a short notice fight for Moreno, right?
Yeah, they fought to a draw the first one.
But was it a short notice fight?
It was short notice for both. They both fought 3 weeks before, and then they turned it around and fought 3 weeks later.
Gotcha. So I think for the first one, I wouldn't even count that as like a legit like preparation. 3 weeks. 3 weeks is kind of like hey, you're gonna fight in 3 weeks. Dope. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. And I feel like the second time you saw Brandon Moreno he came out. He was way more sharper. He was way quicker on his feet. And I felt, Figueiredo, he does have a hard time cutting to that 125, and I think he's stated that a couple times on some of his previous interviews. So for them to fight the third time, I feel why not? Why not? You got Cody No Love going down to 125, so that's gonna be a big name. If he makes it and he wins his next fight, then I think that he can challenge for the next belt, for that next shot, get the winner of it, just because he's such a big name. It'll be a good eyeballs in that fight. So I think, but you also got Alex Pantoja. You got Askar.
Yeah.
You got some killers in that division. And you always have, Triple C. Don't know what he wants to do now. I know he's retired, but he can always come back and get an immediate title shot if he really wanted to, but he's got to cut all that weight. So, I think Figueiredo versus Moreno, I think it's a good fight.
Yeah. All right, DJ. Well, thank you so much for the time, as always. I know you got a mess back there to clean up. It was lovely to see your beautiful daughter. Well, I think it's going to be a reality show in 15 years when some kid shows up in a tux, ready to escort her to a dance. I can't wait to see what kind of looks you're going to be giving that guy.
What I'm going to say, I was like, hey, dog, this is my daughter. And what I want you to do is I want you to treat her like it's your mom. Okay? Go have fun. Because I'm like, we were all kids once. You show up like, oh, man, I'm about to take this girl to the party. I'm going to take her to prom. I'm going to take her out afterwards. It's going to be a good time.
Nice. All right. We still got many years to go before then. We look forward to your fight on December 5th against Rodtang in the hybrid mixed martial arts Muay Thai fight. Thanks, DJ, as always, for the time.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.